Hey there, it's Michelle Brown. Wanted to thank you for joining me today. We're going to work on 2 cards today. Pretty simple, but very pretty cards. And glitter, of course. And we're going to start out with the same stamp set we're going to use for both cards. This is card 1. We're going to use the Greetings from Santa with the Sahara Sand as our card base, the A2 size. And we're going to have Whisper White, Blushing Bride, and Soft Sky are our pieces. All the measurements are there on the screen. And we're going to use Pool Party ink to stamp onto the Soft Sky there. And then we're going to cut out the Whisper White, the 2.5 by 2.5, with the largest of the stitched shapes. And now we're going to use our Wild Wasabi. Whoops, not on the pink, on the white square. And we're going to stamp 3 times without re-inking the same tree. Gives us kind of like a depth of field of the trees there. And now we're going to put a star with the crushed curry ink on top of the foremost star, or the tree, I mean the one that's in the front there. Okay. And then we're going to stamp this cute little deer. He's got a beautiful, beautiful shape to him, with the chocolate chip ink in front of the trees. And my hands are going up there because I'm scrubbing off the stamps. I've got a stamp and scrub up there. And now I'm going to put some snow down with the fine tip glue pen and Dazzle and Diamonds glitter. Just put a bunch on there. And look at how, oh, it's so beautiful how that turns out. And we'll put that back in. Keep the glitter for later. Now we're going to stamp the Ho Ho Ho, and I put the stars on there too, the little, you see there's 2 stamps on that one block there, and we're going to stamp with Blushing Bride on the Blushing Bride paper. We just kind of go up on an angle there, you can see that. Okay, clean the stamps off. And now we're going to start assembling our card. I'm going to use the snail adhesive to put the pink onto our crumb cake. Always make sure you're putting it on the correct way. I've put it on upside down before, or on the back. Okay, and now we're going to put some string. Actually, it's baker's twine. About 14 inches or so I cut to wrap around the side of the card there. I'm just going to tie it into a simple knot, and then I'm going to put a bow on top of the knot so it doesn't come untied. Yeah, there's the knot, and then there's the little rabbit ears. Make your little bow. Keep playing with it till it gets to the size you want it. And we'll trim those off. Let's get this put up on some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of our square. And that has such a beautiful stitch detail on the inside there, right around the edges of that little square there. You can't quite see it, but you can see it in the pictures at the beginning. And make sure I got all the backing off. Stick it off to the side just a little. And then we put dimensionals on the blue strip also. And trim those. Trim the twine, and now we're going to add some jewels with the paper piercing tool. Helps to pick them up with that. They don't get stuck to your fingers that way. Okay, and look how pretty he is. And now moving on to card number 2. Again, the same stamp set, Greetings from Santa. And this time we're going to use round framelits or thinlits. Stitched shapes. We're going to use the circle, and then we're also going to use the scalloped edge of the other circle, and they're about 2 inches each. And we've got a Whisper White cardstock here we're going to use for the card base, and it's another A2 size. And now we're going to use the embossing buddy to emboss with white powder onto our crumb cake. To use the embossing buddy, that helps to get any moisture off the paper so your powder doesn't stick to other places than on the ink, which is of course where you want it. It can make quite a mess if you don't use that little powder, you know, that little bag with it, and it's got like a powder in it of some sort. Okay, and now we're going to put our the same deer, that really cute deer that we just used on the other card. We're going to stamp that onto the shimmery white cardstock that we cut, and then we're going to stack that on top of the crumb cake. And we'll use our snail, stick him on there, and now we're going to heat emboss that, melt the powder, I guess, with the heat tool. It's a beautiful white. Comes out real nice with the detail of the letters. Turns out great. Now we're going to cut this to about 1 inch wide, and we're going to make a flag with that. You flag one of the ends, which I don't do a very good job of, but this one actually turned out. Although you'll see me struggle with it. I have to cut it a couple times. And now we're going to assemble. Oh no, we're not going to assemble the card. We have the top piece to make yet. We're just going to use water and the mint macaron. And we're going to use the shimmery white cardstock. And we're going to use the aqua painter. Now this paper doesn't absorb it. It's not a watercolor paper, but it's not regular paper either. It has a shimmer on the top, so it's not going to absorb the paper. So it does take a little bit longer for it to dry, just a little bit. But it also stands up to a little bit of this watercoloring. You can't do a whole lot. You can do a little bit. And we'll keep moving that around. You see I pinched the ink pad to get the ink to come onto the top, onto the lid. And now we're trying to make some little spots. Wherever the water goes, it kind of whites out. Lightens up, whites out, or whatever you want to call the ink. It moves the ink out of the way. And now I gotta dry the paper to try to stop it from curling and doing what it is doing. It's curling up on me. Okay, and then we've got the stars. We're gonna stamp in that same color, the mint macaron ink. But I see I made a little boo-boo at the bottom. I tried to take it off with a little water on the tissue, but that didn't work. So of course the best thing is paint over top of it. Since it's a watercolor, we'll add just a little more color all the way down to the bottom of the cardstock there. Okay, and we'll add now I got to put more drops back on. I'm going to dry it first so we can keep the color from running all over the place. And I'm trying not to have so much water at one time on the cardstock. Like I said, it's not real good for it. And here's one way to splash it on. And now I'm just squeezing the little pen, squeezing water out of it and making my own little drops. And then you just take a paper towel and blot them off. And you see how it turns white? It moves the ink, water, pushes it out of the way and lightens it up. And you see there's a big spot there that's going to bug me, so I'm putting more, trying to put more color on there. And I probably should give up while I'm ahead before I ruin the paper. You see it bubbling a little. I'm trying to push it back down. Another thing you can do is actually put it between a couple pieces of regular paper and just run it through your Big Shot. That'll help flatten it out also if you're having a lot of trouble. And now my flag is too long. So we're going to fix that in a minute. We're going to put our stars on, kind of just making a swirl or an S, I guess, kind of a pattern up the top of the page there. And there we go. Clean the stamp. Put away the other tools before I make more of a mess. And now this is a piece of white fun foam that has adhesive on one side. You see me peel it off. It's cut just slightly smaller than the piece of the white shimmer cardstock. Put those on, and now I'm trying to make sure it's all stuck down because that paper was pretty warped up. And now I'm going to deal with that flag, and now look, I cut it crooked. Oh boy. That's why I don't do any fussy cutting. I can't cut a straight line if you paid me to. And I'm trying to figure out exactly where I want that. So I'm still trying to cover up that bubble that's on there that I made. And now we're going to tape this down with tear and tape. We have to adhere this to the front of the card. And I'm going to use both tear and tape and snail adhesive. Trying to make sure that the shimmer cardstock on the top stops warping. So I'm trying to make sure I get as much adhesive as I can. And squish it down nice and flat with a big block. One of those huge acrylic blocks. And now we'll attach this. Oh, gotta play with that flag again, don't I? It's still too long. And if I didn't ruin it the first time, let's see if I can this time. Nope. Looks okay. Attach that with some snail. And I've got a little bow there that I made with the thick twine. Or the thick, yeah, it's the thick baker's twine. But you'll see me get rid of that. Now we're going to put this stack of 2 circles with some Stampin' Dimensionals. Put that just below the sentiment. And we're going to use some metallic sequins here, and I found 3 silver. And we're going to put that on, glue those on with our fine tip glue pen. Usually try to do things in odd numbers like 3 or 5. Okay, so I got rid of the thread, or the yarn. It looks like yarn. I got about 9 to 10 wraps of this silver thread. And I put it around my hand, and I kind of went off screen there, but I'm tying it in the center, which wasn't the easiest thing to do because it is thread. And get that glued on, and put my things away here. And I think we're done. Try to make sure that stays on. Poke it, I guess, to see. And cut the ends off. It is very pretty. It's hard to see, but... And thanks for watching. Stop by soon for another video. Don't forget to subscribe.